All right, let's head on to other markets now. See, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, says the federal government, crypto developers and individuals need to have synergy to enjoy the benefits and reduce the risks of digital currencies. He made the comment on Sunrise Daily yesterday. Take a listen.
I think the biggest challenge with cryptocurrency, and not just for Nigeria, but all over the world, is that the way it's been built so far is quite strong in supporting opportunities for individuals while ignoring sovereignty of nations, right? This is a fantastic means of exchange that almost proposes a new way of bypassing existing formal system. It serves the individual really well, which is fine. But what we need to be conscious about in Africa is that we're still building our nation states, right? And not everyone will be on crypto, but what will happen to those who are not enlightened enough to be on crypto? But beyond also being on crypto, if a system threatens your sovereignty and you don't have a clear understanding of how to manage it, do we say to ourselves that we do not need a nation to be able to support everything that we want to see? So my approach to crypto is actually saying there's a need for both the users, the producer, but also government to have a significant understanding of how to work with it. It's a fantastic opportunity, but we must understand its implication for our sovereignty as a nation. How do we manage it such that it doesn't compromise our sovereignty as a nation, but also use it in such a way that it can provide opportunities and benefit for our people as well? We've been able to demonstrate the value for people, which is great, but I think we've not been able to understand how best to manage it for sovereignty of the country as a nation.
Joining me now is Shehu Dania, CEO, Trade Father. Great to have you, Shehu. I'm sure you saw and heard what the minister had to say there, but looking at the nature of cryptocurrency, can there really be that synergy, between the government and the crypto industry?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, very much there can be, and there should be synergy between the government and the cryptocurrency industry. So Bitcoin for itself, the white paper was published in 2008, and that's 15 years ago. So definitely we know that cryptocurrencies are here to stay. What we should do is, invite the industry and industry stakeholders to a round table, to have these conversations on how to properly manage these things. It's actually, something that even at the last UN General Assembly, there was a side meeting whereby the IMF and the FSB presented a paper, recommending to all nations on the need to regulate cryptocurrencies. We can recollect sometime last year, we had some meetings with the NFIU where they specifically said that Nigeria was on the grey list by the Financial Action Task Force because we are unable to, monitor and report digital transactions in digital currencies. So the government not working or trying to even come with the crypto industry is only just making the black market thrive. And black market, not just in the crypto industry, basically in every other industry that the government doesn't have oversight.
Oh, definitely, with the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, definitely it appeals more to the individuals. And he talked about, maintaining the sovereignty, of the state. We've seen some countries adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. Have they been any better, looking at those countries?
So implementation is always different across the world. For us within the industry, what we believe that should happen, the government doesn't have to take Bitcoin as a legal tender. What is important, cryptocurrencies is just beyond Bitcoin now. There are several cryptocurrencies, as we all know. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's Ripple, there's Monero. There are all kinds of cryptocurrencies. So for what the government needs to do is first to create a sandbox environment that actually brings together all the entities, all the individuals who are willing to partake in that cryptocurrency space legitimately. Thereby, the government is able to have oversight. About a few weeks ago in the UK went live with the travel rule. The travel rule states that everybody is also, a standard by the Financial Action Task Force, that everybody who's transacting in digital currencies, cryptocurrencies above a certain amount, should be able to report information about the people who are transacting. So basically, like I'm transferring money from my bank to your bank. It carries your information saying I'm sending money to Ladi from Shehu that way the government knows and they're able to, trace illicit funds. The major thing about it is people have decided to use cryptocurrencies as an alternative means because they believe there's a failing system. But we are not, everything was how we started, decentralization. But the people who are partaking in the businesses know that, well, sure, regulation is necessary. The government needs to have oversight on transactions. If the government works with the people within the industry, then you know that anybody else who does not want to report their transactions to the government is definitely a bad player. And then the government can then, take action, but not trying to regulate, not trying to work with people within the industry. I think it doesn't work for us.
Talking about regulation, we've seen, a lot of exchanges, globally, exchanges like Binance and Co. They've been under a lot of regulatory pressure, lately. How do you see that, going forward? Do you think at some point there'll be some synergy between the exchanges and regulators?
So what is currently happening is, and I believe it's bound to happen because it's a new technology, is every country is coming up with their own regulations. So that's why the exchanges are having challenges, So the US has their own regulation, the UK has their own regulation, the UAE has their own regulation, the EU is coming up with a different regulation. So at every point in time, the exchanges are already operating within these countries, but then regulation then starts to change and then they start to have challenges. So either they go out of that market or they conform with the regulation. But I believe, and I strongly know that what the world should do, because it's already a global economy, everybody is working together. What the world should do is we follow the financial system. They trust the IMF, they trust the World Bank, they trust the FSB. These institutions have done extensive research and they have put out, frameworks on how most countries should operate. It's not compulsory, you take some of that information and adopt it to your own local businesses. And then you take it from there. If the whole world is operating by a global standard, like the FA, the Financial Action Task Force, is a global standard that, financial institutions are operating by. And everybody's able to report, these transactions. Everybody's able to do business globally. So you should take the same stand with cryptocurrency industry, whereby all countries work together, as opposed to each country trying to build their own unique regulation. Because cryptocurrencies go beyond borders, and if all countries are not working together, it's just recipe for chaos.
All right, let's look at the market now. You see behind me, it's red is the color today. Going into next week, what are you expecting for price action?
Of course, I wouldn't. This is just my own, personal opinions, based on my own, little analysis. So no one should take it, hook, line, and sinker. Next week, we probably will still see on the Bitcoin side, we'll probably still see a little downtrend. And let's also remember that the global macroeconomic state, is showing. A lot of countries are having challenges, and on the regulatory side too, like you mentioned, exchanges are having issues where people who are building cryptocurrency projects are also having several issues. But on the bright side, I think Ethereum has a merge coming up, so I think Ethereum would definitely to see an upside for the Ethereum. And generally, for some good news, it's we've seen a lot of industry, a lot of business, a lot of industry participation, different businesses, the financial institutions globally and even locally are beginning to adopt some kind of cryptocurrency. I know I saw in the news that one of the big fintechs announced a partnership, with USDC. That's one of our local ones. So as we are seeing industry adoption, it gives credence to the use of cryptocurrencies, not generally, for individuals, but as businesses, it fast tracks transactions without a doubt. And with more industry, with more business adoption, we'll see, general interest in the other ones that we can see an uptrend. But for next week, I think it's still the same way that it is, either down or
down or up. All right, thank you so much. It was great having your perspective there, Shehu Daniel, CEO, Trade Father. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right, and yeah, as you see behind me, the color is red. Friday. Me and Nini always talk about Fridays having that red hint there, and that's what we see, and just a couple of green pockets and fear fear is the sentiment right here in the crypto market. Looking at the fear greed index there, 44 points over 100, showing that traders are quite fearful right now. So that's how the market is looking today.